Hello, it's Ollie Winiberg here, and we are at the UK Drum Show 2024 to unveil the brand new V-Drums 7 Series, and I'm with Jules from Roland to talk all about it. How are you?
Very good, mate, thanks.
Good. Tell us about this new exciting drum kit. How does it differ from previous releases?
Okay, so V-Drums 7 Series, new generation of flagship electronic drums from Roland. The main difference, it's a module, it's called the V71, V71. That's the kind of heart, really, of 3 different drum kits within the series. That module is a complete ground up, back to the drawing board kind of product for us. Wow. So anybody that knows V-Drums of the past, we've always recorded audio in studios, etc., brought those sounds into the module, lots of different sample layers so you get that playback, but then we've combined that with various technology that we've had inside the module to make both the response more natural, more realistic, but also to adapt some of the sounds inside as well, so that you can start to do things like play around with different drum head types, or change the depth of a snare drum, or that kind of stuff, or change the diameter of a cymbal. That stuff has been possible for a long time. But what we've done now is we've re-recorded the sound library from scratch. There are no sounds inside the V71 module that come from any previous generation of V-Drums.
Wow.
And we've recorded those in some incredible studios, lots and lots of different types of acoustic drums, cymbals and percussion. We've recorded those all over the world, but mainly Japan and also in Oxnard, California, with our colleagues from Drum Workshop, DW. We've produced those sounds, so we've got lots and lots of sample layers. They sound great, but it's also about how they behave and respond in the module. And that's a combination of the multiple layers of samples. It's a combination of randomization of samples. So you have different samples each time you hit the drum. It gives you a different hit.
Yes.
But it's also using our behavior modeling technology then, which effectively means that when you combine those 3 elements together, you can have up to 16,000 individual sounds from every single hit. So it's incredible. So that is a significant change in the module itself. The second big thing that's different about it compared to V-Drums of the past is that the module is expandable. So what you would buy before is a product with sounds in it, and the sounds would be the sounds. You can change and edit those sounds, but the sounds are the sounds. This is different. Once you connect it to Roland Cloud, which is our kind of online repository, if you like, of different sound packs, etc. And once you connect it to Roland Cloud, you bring from the cloud via a smartphone app new sound packages into the module. They actually give you extra instruments, so more kicks, more cymbals, more hats, more rides, more crashes, more toms, more cymbals, more snares, whatever you need. You're bringing those in, and then you're expanding the sounds inside. And even then, when you've brought those sounds inside, you can adapt and play with them using the V-Edit system.
That is unreal. I mean, Roland have always been at the forefront of electronic drums. Why do you think they are becoming even more popular than ever before now?
I think it's partly an accessibility thing, right? The purpose of electronic drums is not to replace acoustic drums by any means. We're all drummers. I'm a drummer, you're a drummer, and would never want to lose my acoustic drums. But I think that accessibility for playing acoustic drums varies. I can't play acoustic drums at home, for example, not without upsetting a lot of people. And perhaps over the more recent years, with what we've gone through globally, people wanting to play at home, electronic drums are accessible, right?
Yes.
It means that you can play without necessarily disturbing others to the same degree with acoustic drums. But just because you're playing that kit electronically, it doesn't mean to say that you're willing to trade off playing feel, playing response, or sound. And I think that's why perhaps electronics have become more acceptable. It's a way to keep playing and still learn technique, develop your playing, move things forward, but do it without disturbing others. But I think the other use is expansion of sound creativity, right? There's things that you can do with electronic sounds and sound shaping and effects and all kinds of stuff that you wouldn't necessarily be able to do with acoustic drums. So it's using it as a creative tool, not just as a replacement for quiet acoustic drums. I think it's those two things that help driving that.
So how long, this was obviously born from an idea, how long does it take for this to get out of somebody's head and then into this kit? How long does it take to put together?
Very good question. So for us, it's a development over a number of years, because you're not just developing a product, you're developing technologies
Yes.
as well as individual products. And our team based in Hamamatsu in Japan, they are incredible guys. They are drummers, but they're also incredible engineers as well.
Yes.
Sound engineers, hardware engineers, software engineers, and they work together in this case over a period of like 5 or 6 years to get towards the V-Drum 7 series. Yeah.
Amazing. And obviously the $1 million literally the $1 million question. If I want to buy one of these, what's it going to set me back?
Okay, so it depends what currency that we want to talk in, but probably if you're talking dollars, US dollars, then for this particular kit, so I mentioned there was 3 kits in the series.
You did.
There's this one here, which is the VAD 716. It's the V-Drums acoustic design. So you have full shells. They don't play any acoustic noise. They're there to look like acoustic drums, but of course you get all the beautiful finish, but they are fully electronic. So a kit like this with the V71 module would be $8,999 US, for example.
And it's really kind you've offered to give me one for free for doing this video. I really do appreciate it. So if, for example, somebody bought this kit and invested in it, because that's what I think this is, it's an investment. If they were maybe a bit pushed for space, but they wanted to use the finish live, could they play it without the shells being attached? Is that still an option, so that you've got those more classic sort of Roland finishes just for at home, so you could pack it away and then use this for live?
So for us, the form is the form that you buy into. So you would either buy into V-Drums acoustic design, aesthetic and setup, or you would buy into what we would call the kind of classic electronic aesthetic, what we call TD kind of setup. So we also have a TD 716, which is $1,000 US cheaper, which means that you've got those kind of shallower pads, etc. You still get all the same playability, you still get the same sound module, but you're just changing the form factor. And then we've got another model called the TD 713, which is a more affordable version of that. So again, still comes with the V71 sound module, still comes with all the digital pads, etc. that come with this kit, including the new snare drum, which I'd love to talk about. But it just means that it's bringing the price point down a little bit.
Okay. I mean, I've had a go, and it is almost like playing an acoustic kit when you've got the headphones on. You hit the snare, you've got that natural kind of a bit of reverb afterwards. And obviously John was playing a Roland kit earlier today during the UK Drum Show weekend, so we know it sounds great live. But tell me about the snare. You wanted to talk about the snare. I want to hear your excitement about it, Jules.
So this is really, really cool, this feature. So we've been making digital pads for several years. We introduced it with the TD 50 series back in 2016. So digital ride, digital snare, digital hi-hats. Digital means that there's 2 types of sensors inside. You've got a traditional kind of electronic piezo sensors, which is the same as what you have in any of our pads in a Roland V-Drums range. But we've also then got electrostatic sensors, which is the kind of technology you have in your smartphone, which picks up your finger. So when you swipe the screen, etc., that's what electrostatic sensing is. And by using those 2 different things, you're allowed to, it allows you to touch the cymbal, for example, play it, hold your hand on it, and it'll give you a muted tone.
Wow.
Or strike it, gently put your hand on top and it will mute it. You can do that on the ride and the hi-hats. On the snare, it means that you can play a head shot, a rim shot, or a cross stick, and it will automatically detect where you're playing. That's been around for a while, but the snare drum is an evolution of that. It's now got a throw off on the side, so you can actually turn the snare wires on and off. When you put the snare wires on, it makes that beautiful sound of the snare wires connecting with the reso head or the snare head, and giving you that sound. And the strainer adjustment means that you can literally tighten the wires or loosen the wires, and you'll hear that. But you can also, because it's electronic, assign a function to that as well. If you want that to be a button press instead of turning the snare tension on and off, then you could do that too. So it's incredible.
That's amazing. Obviously you work for Roland. Where do you see it going next? What's the next step in electric drums, do you think? I mean, this is obviously top tier. Where does it go from here?
So really interesting question. So I don't know if you're aware of the Roland DW connection. So 2 years ago, Roland acquired Drum Workshop, DW, completely separate brand. But DW also have released a acoustic electronic kit. So it's an acoustic, full DW acoustic drum set, but it can convert into an electronic drum set.
Wow.
But the key point there is the wireless technology between the pads. There's no wired connection whatsoever in order to generate the sound. You generate the sound with that product with a product called DW Soundworks, which is a virtual instrument. DW Soundworks also comes with this product here. So when you buy a V-Drum 7 series, not only do you have that connection with the cloud, but you can use DW Soundworks as a VST as well. So there's instant connection there between the brands. And we've collaborated a lot with DW in creating the sounds inside the V-Drum 7 series. So you're hearing a lot of drum workshop drums and etc. in here.
Amazing.
But that wireless technology is really, really interesting. It's early days. The DWE drum set is the very first drum set of its type, and it's with a separate brand. However, we are one company. So in the future, perhaps that wireless triggering technology, as it evolves, as it develops, that might be a place where that could go. And I think the holy grail, as I mentioned earlier on, electronic drums, they're not about replacing acoustic drums. But if you're going to play an electrical instrument, you want that behaviour and that response to be true and true to life. We are there for sure with the V-Drum 7 series, but that evolution will just take it further and further, and development in kind of expansion of sound, having a sound library that you can just tap into almost any type of drum set or any type of percussion or any type of cymbal, and just growing that. That's where I see the future going for us.
And for somebody looking at this thinking, okay, you know, is an investment and considering buying it, do you think you have to be a particular caliber of drummer to be able to purchase one of these? Do you need to be advanced? Can you be beginner? Is Roland for any ability?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, this particular drum set, we make it with professional use in mind because we're a professional musical instrument company. You know, we make a product that is designed to be usable at all levels. But does that mean that only professionals can use this? No. Definitely not. You know, it would be like saying, you know, could only a professional use a DW collector snare drum? Definitely not. You know, I'm a mediocre drummer at best, but I love those drums, and you know, I want to own those and play those and collect those drums like anybody else. So I think it all depends on, you know, what you can afford, and there's lots and lots of different levels at price points within our product range and within our family of brands to tap into that.
Amazing. And this is a silly question, is it just the red that it comes in? There's lots of...
Five.
There's 5. What colours you got? Go.
So we've got this one here, which is cherry. We've then got like a black finish, but it's not a solid black. It's a shell lacquer, like this one. We've got a natural finish, again, so it's lacquered, it's a gloss finish. So you've got that. We've then got a pearlescent white, which is a paint. It's not a wrap, but it's pearlescent paint. And then finally, we've got a new finish called satin walnut, which is absolutely stunning.
Amazing. Well, I can't wait to spend the rest of the weekend basically annoying you until I can have a go on all of these drums. So thank you so much for your time today, and congratulations with the release.
Lovely. Cheers, Ollie. Thanks very much.